So the first jersey we have to talk through here then would be the last jersey from the Jack Charlton era, of course. First one, Umbro's campaign for the qualification for Euro 96.
Yeah, absolutely. So we came in at the tail end of the World Cup '94, and this was the very first kit that we produced. So as you said, it was worn through the end of Jack's time, and this is a jersey that Gary Kelly actually wore back at the time, and you can see we did use a bit of the neon orange, and there was a bit of printing in it at the time, which was very synonymous with kind of that time in the 90s, you know.
The next shirt we have would be best remembered for the World Cup qualifying campaign and the finals in 2002.
Yeah, it was a jersey that we launched in August 2001, and we then carried it over to the World Cup, which is unusual. You'd normally change going into a major tournament, but we didn't on that occasion. This was the jersey that was in the last group game. It was worn by Kenny Cunningham in a 4-0 win against Cyprus, and then obviously we went on to famously beat Iran 2-1 over the two legs and on to the World Cup in Japan.
The next shirt then that we have, we can see the match details worn by number 6 against Italy. Would that be the famous game Glenn Whelan scored in Croke Park?
Yes, it was indeed. It was Glenn's shirt, and obviously a 2-2 draw in Croke Park, which was obviously great playing there for a couple of years as well, while the Aviva was being rebuilt. So this was one of the shirts where we did use quite a lot of orange. Very popular shirt, but unfortunately never made major finals.
You mentioned there the redevelopment of Lansdowne Road at Aviva Stadium, of course. Robbie Keane's 100 cap, the first game in the Aviva Stadium, is our next jersey.
Yeah, this is the jersey I mentioned earlier on, which we looked back at a lot of black and white imagery and a lot of photos out of the archives from the 50s. And as I said, Umbro had actually made the FAI shirts back then. So we did a lot of research into that, and we also figured out, through a lot of black and white images, believe it or not, but mostly through stories that we'd been told and looking at really old player shirts, that there was a very specific shade called St. Patrick's Green that was used back in the 50s. So you can see the difference in the shading here from a kind of traditional emerald green into this St. Patrick's Green. And we thought it would be very fitting of this jersey, especially with the new stadium coming up, that we commemorated it with gold. So there's a lot of gold piping, gold stitching, and the fixture details were also put in gold. But this was a massively popular jersey and kit with the fans. Very much, I think the change in green was seen as a very positive thing, and the very classic V-neck white neck.
We're on to our next kit then for the qualifying campaign for the World Cup in 2014.
Yeah, this one was Mark Wilson's jersey, worn, I think that was the away game against Faroes, 4-1 if my memory serves me right. And this was a jersey that we brought in with a very kind of different neckline. It had moved on from the previous white one, so we wanted to do something a bit different. So we did this very much ribbed collar, but again with a very classic and plain looking material. White under the arms, obviously, with the ventilation and stuff. That was for the qualifiers for Brazil 14, which again, unfortunately, well, it would have probably changed anyway, to be fair, had we qualified, but this one didn't see a major tournament. Finally,
then we have the most recent jersey for the campaign that got us to Euro 2016.
Yeah, a massively popular jersey, this one. A lot of people, after us doing a few V-necks and round necks, were very keen to see a return of a collar. So we brought in a very classic kind of starched white collar on this. You've got a very classic striped material just running through, a tonal green running through the material, a little bit like the 2002 shirt. And obviously the addition of some the sleeve badges here in the match version of the jersey, but with it qualifying and with it being a very classic, clean looking shirt, that was a massively popular one with the fans as well, and probably the best received since the 2010 shirt.
Looking ahead to Euro 2016, there's big excitement about what the kit's going to be. What do you have in store for that?
Well, as I alluded to earlier, we're going very, very classic looking kit. We've tried to incorporate all the colours of the flag, and it's one that I'm very excited about.
So if fans want to get the kit, where can they get it?
So it's going to be available nationwide, obviously, but faishop.com is a great place to go and purchase. You can pre-order now, and faishop.com will have the exclusives on the likes of the names and numbers, also the fixture details. We're going to do a limited run of 216 home jerseys or away jerseys, depending on which is worn in each game, for the Sweden Belgium and Italy games. They'll be exclusively available there with the flag details as we discussed earlier on. And also the UEFA sleeve badges for the first time are available. And again, they will be exclusive on faishop.com. So we'd love to see fans coming on, having a look. It's also the only place that carries the entire range. So every single piece of kit that you'll see on the senior national team will be available on faishop.com.